violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Search for the person who shot and killed 8-year-old Aubrey Anthony during a drive-by shooting in Augusta. Just last night, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office confirmed they found this Jeep linked to the case, but no arrests yet in her death. With every life taken by gun violence follows calls from family, friends, and neighbors for real change. But what does it take to get crime down and truly transform a community?
Okay, so she's asking a very critical question that we ask a lot on this channel as well. What does it take to get crime down in the community? And we know that they're talking about the black community, okay? We're not talking about any other community. There is pretty much no other crime issue in majority white communities. The crime issues start when you go into the black community. Now, I'm not saying other races don't commit crimes. I'm just saying specifically, this is the context that they're talking about. And obviously the solutions that they're going to present are poverty and all this other stuff. But that's not what's going to stop these super gremlins from shooting the place up. They're not shooting the place up because they're broke. Okay? It's quite the contrary. These dudes is hood rich.
News 12's Kennedy Harris talked to city leaders about solutions.
Violence, I think it's a outcry for something. And as leaders,
it's an outcry for something. Obviously, you can hear that this is a sister. They are so out of the loop. It's an outcry for something. Dude, you got these guys on the street who, like we did the story in Dallas, they shoot a woman 22 times. These super gremlins are not outcrying for anything. They're heartless. They're soulless. And they don't care what type of pain they inflict on someone or their family.
we need to respond to that outcry.
In the days since 8-year-old Aubrey Anthony was killed, we've heard outcries from her community and family to end the violence.
My heart has been really heavy since the incident. And I have been thinking, and I have talked to a couple of my colleagues on what can we do.
Many of Augusta's low-income.
You can start by locking these dudes up and keeping them there. That's a good starting point. Don't talk about no programs, trying to get these kids off the streets. Like, no, the way to get them off the streets is when they do something, keep them in jail. Don't try and go back and reform the justice system because you feel like it's disproportionately affecting. Nah. The reason why it's disproportionately affecting the community is because most of the crime is coming out of the community.
Income housing neighborhoods have been challenged with crime for years.
Miss Felicia finna find something for him to do.
Magnolia Court was one of them.
Things just in disarray, people angry, people hurt.
Felicia Rhodes has worked at the apartment community center for years. She was here when bulldozers came in.
It is just a fresh breath of air.
The renovations came in 2019 with the help of new developers and nearly $20 million in bonds from the city. Since then, they haven't eradicated crime, but it's dropped significantly.
From job training to government resource assistance to school supplies, this community center has become the pulse of Magnolia Court.
So they renovated the community center. They got all this money into the community center in 2019. They renovated some apartment buildings, which are going to get destroyed eventually, and the community center might also be affected as well. You know, they tried something like this in a city near me, and the community centers start getting flooded with some bad dudes And these super gremlins know how to take over property that they don't own. Look at these hoods. Like, these super gremlins will walk into that community center and shoot you in the face and not think twice about it. Go back home, smoke a blunt, go to sleep, smash some hoochie mama, and be on their way.
Magnolia is a perfect example.
Commissioner Scott says in some ways the city has failed low-income residents.
We might just send them and give them an apartment, and that's all we do.
Finance resources, parenting classes, school-to-work transition programs, finding ways to fill the gaps and get people out of low-income housing. That's her goal.
We can't do it emotionally. We're going to have to do it systemically.
Because change can be a good thing.
It gave the people a sense of hope.
Kennedy Harris, on your side.
Commissioner Scott is already in talks with her fellow commissioners about ideas on how to start programming, but she says a lot more stakeholders need to be involved, including the housing authority, churches, and community leaders to really make improvements.
After an Augusta 8-year-old is killed by gunfire in her own front yard. Tonight we can confirm people have been detained and questioned in connection to the death of 8-year-old Aubrey Anthony, but no arrest in that case yet.
Richmond County deputies say they are still on the hunt for this Jeep Trailhawk, this unique color car. Somebody knows something. News 12's Kennedy Harris
I think she meant Trackhawk.
joins us live now from outside the sheriff's office with how leaders are responding.
Finding out who killed 8-year-old Aubrey Anthony is Richmond County investigators' top priority. And you can be the one to help. City leaders and her father are pleading for your information.
If you're sitting next to a guy that killed a child, an innocent child, you tell on that person.
It's been
Woo! So you heard the father. He says we need to stop with the no snitching policy in the community. He didn't say it verbatim, but that, that's pretty much what he said. If you're sitting next to a guy who has killed a child, you need to tell on that man. But we all know that that is not likely. What do we hear these guys bragging about, man? I really be in the trap. I really be in the trenches. I really be with them killers. I'm really a super gremlin. I really be with these super gremlins. It's something to brag about. It's something to brag about to these guys. Okay? So you got to understand, when you're dealing with these super gremlins, they they take pride in being with the killers, being with the robbers, being with the dudes who outside. They take pride in that. So, it doesn't matter who he killed. She could be 65 years old. She could be 6 years old. Male or female, it doesn't matter. Dudes just want to feel hard and get that sense of validation for themselves that I really be with the killers. I'm really in the trenches.
4 days since Arthur Anthony lost his little girl.
So whoever did it, you shot at the wrong place and you killed a beautiful little girl.
The suspect shot 10 bullets, one of them killing 8-year-old Aubrey Anthony as she played outside. In the days since, investigators have made the case a priority. Grovetown public safety officers detained 2 suspects for questioning Monday afternoon, but made no arrests. Tuesday morning, Richmond County investigators continued canvassing the Dogwood Terrace apartments for witnesses.
I have a daughter, and I could just imagine if that was my child, how difficult it would be.
District 2 Commissioner Dennis Williams says the news of the shooting in his district is upsetting.
No one never wants to see anyone die, especially a young child, foolishly.
He's encouraging everyone to be cooperative with investigators because he says the key to ending such violence is in the hands of the community.
And if the community really wants to stop a lot of the violence, they have to start being more cooperative with law enforcement.
Investigators say they're following all tips and still looking for information on this Jeep Compass seen on surveillance video leaving the scene.
She didn't deserve none of that.
Your help. It's a father's plea for his little girl.
The only thing she wanted to do was live.
And any tips you make to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office can be made anonymously.
Kennedy, thank you for that. Aubrey Anthony was one of 5 people shot in Richmond County over the weekend, and there's growing concern about crime in our community.
All right, guys, so here we go. We got the guy who killed Aubrey Anthony, and obviously he has very significant signs of demon time. The face tattoos, the neck tattoos. Man. So they had some suspects. They had to let him go. Maybe they talked. But this guy, and Antoine Redfield, is being charged with murder. So thank God he's off the streets. But let's read into maybe if he had a prior criminal history. Redfield is currently in custody in Columbia County on unrelated charges stemming from a traffic stop in Grovetown, possession of Schedule II drugs, firearm possession by convicted felon, and possession of a firearm or knife during commission of a attempted murder. So this guy was stopped on something else. And this is how trash these dudes are at committing crimes. He gets away with the murder, and then he gets stopped on something else. A search of the vehicle at the time of the stop revealed multiple firearms and several dozen financial transaction cards belonging to multiple individuals, so he's scamming as well. None of which were passengers in the vehicle. A large amount of cash was also located in the vehicle, as well as narcotics and drug paraphernalia. Wow, just riding stupid dirty. Redfield was arrested in that traffic stop alongside 25-year-old Devontae McNeil and 20-year-old Henry Beach, both of whom were detained on charges of financial transaction card theft. He's now been placed on a hold for Richmond County. Richmond County investigators say further arrests in the Aubrey Anthony murder case are forthcoming.
Issued warrants for the arrest of a man accused of kidnapping a Decatur woman. Decatur police want 20-year-old Torrance Hall on several charges, including kidnapping, aggravated assault, and armed robbery. Authorities accuse Hall of pulling a gun on a woman as she walked to her car on North Arcadia Street on December 30th. He then forced her to withdraw money from several ATMs.
So, guys, remember we did this story, and we're finding out the guys who are doing this, and oh man, this super gremlin stuff is real, guys. It really is. What makes these dudes go out and kidnap a woman and take her to multiple ATMs? Obviously, he's doing it for the bread, but at the same time, he would have killed this woman. You know, he could have killed this woman. And she's lucky to be alive today. And thank God that they found him. But I just wanted to update you guys because I know we do a lot of stories and y'all wonder if the guys get caught. So whenever I do find out that a guy that I did a story on or a situation that I did a story on, the perpetrator is caught, you know, I want to follow up and make sure you guys know that too.
And then shot her in the leg. If you know where Hall is, Decatur police would like to hear from you.
Months after a toddler was stolen from his family, police have made an arrest. 1-year-old Blaze Barnett was kidnapped back in November, was missing for more than 36 hours. And Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez is live in Clarkston. Ty, all day you've been doing some digging on how police found him.
Linda, the question everyone is asking is where was baby Blaze for those 36 hours that his parents and we were all on edge wondering if he would be returned safely? Well, police are still investigating that, but what they do have right now is a teenager behind bars, all because of a fingerprint.
Wow. So remember we did this story on that young boy getting kidnapped, and thank God I think he was sitting in the car and his parents were loading groceries or something like that. But thank God he was found. But the guy who did this, man, y'all are gonna trip. Obviously, it's a super gremlin. Y'all are gonna trip, man.
He was arrested by DeKalb County Schools yesterday on the 13th.
Clarkston Sergeant Dustin Bulcher said he and other officers have been working day and night on this baby Blaze case since he was kidnapped from his parents' driveway back on November 10th. Nearly 2 days after the kidnapping, we had a camera there when baby Blaze was safely reunited with his parents. But up until this point, police didn't know who kidnapped him or where he was for almost 36 hours. 2 months later, police arrested this teen on Thursday.
Bruh. What would possess this man, or this super gremlin rather, to kidnap a baby boy? No apparent reason. This is crazy.
17-year-old Dale Doomjay. Police say it was GBI forensics that led them to the teen.
The vehicle was processed with the GBI. During that time, we were able to obtain a fingerprint from a piece of mail that was unrelated to anyone associated with the family.
DeKalb County School Police arrested Doomjay, but at the time, they say they didn't realize he was the kidnapping suspect.
Doomjay. Doomjay. And listen up, they gave him the benefit of the doubt. They arrested him and didn't even know that he was the suspect. He don't sound ADOS. So this brother is, you know, probably first generation immigrant. His folks from the motherland. You know what I mean? So he's not ADOS, all right? So a lot of people are like, well, the people from Africa, they come over here and do great. Some, definitely. But then you got the Doomjays of the world, and they on demon time just like a lot of ADOS brothers.
Doomjay is a current student at Towers High School in Decatur, but for some reason he was knocking on the door of Freedom Middle School Thursday, which made school police officers take him into custody.
So this man was looking for some more kids. So this dude gets arrested for knocking on the door of another school.
For some reason he was knocking on the door of Freedom Middle School Thursday, which made school police officers take him into custody. That's when police realized he was wanted in the Baby Blaze case.
It's relieving. We've been working night and day over this case, and we finally able to get a break in the case.
So guys, I told you, these guys are not going to get caught unless they do something else, which they tend to do something else. But it's crazy that this man was still on the streets after kidnapping a 1-year-old, bro. Woo! Man.
We learned today that this teenage suspect has been arrested before in DeKalb County for burglary in September.
Shocking.
We requested the report. We still didn't get it yet, but we do know that the case is still open. We're live in DeKalb County in Clarkston. Taisha Fernandez, Channel 2 Action News.
Stayed on an Amber Alert from 2 months ago. Remember the baby from Clarkston missing for 36 long hours, prompting an Amber Alert? Well, police just arrested a teenage suspect in connection with the case. Brittany Kleinpeter spoke to Baby Blaze's mom about the 17-year-old accused of stealing their SUV with Blaze inside.
Early this morning, 11 Alive was the first to hear that an arrest had been made in this case after a nearly 3-month-long investigation. Police tell me the suspect is only 17 years old. The baby's mother says that while she's glad she has closure, she feels sympathy for the teen and just wishes he made a better choice.
Was a teen and just at the wrong place at the wrong time. He made a bad judgment. And I honestly think that I'm kind of waving on, like, I feel a little bad for him because.
Wow. Oh, man. And this is what irks me in the community. We have sisters out here whose children her child has been kidnapped by a wild super gremlin. Super gremlin on the loose. This guy has robbery charges. He's over here knocking on middle school doors. Obviously, he has a problem. And she's sitting up here saying she feels bad for this man. This is what's wrong with the black community. We feel bad for the criminals, especially black women. You feel bad for this super gremlin who stole your car and kidnapped your child. Really? Come on, sis. We got to do better.
The baby's mother says that while she's glad she has closure, she feels sympathy for the teen and just wishes he made a better choice.
Was a teen and just at the wrong place at the wrong time. He made a bad.
This ain't no wrong place at the wrong time. You know, being being the Aubrey Anthony girl is the wrong place at the wrong time. Being the 1-year-old boy in Atlanta who got shot is being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Your child was at the wrong place at the wrong time. But this guy, no, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was on demon time.
At judgment, and I honestly think that I'm kind of waving on, like, I feel a little bad for him because, you know, he messed his life up. At the end of the day, he didn't harm my baby. He had no baby. He had no idea that Blaze was in the car. And once he found out that Blaze was in the car, he immediately disposed everything.
The mother adding the most important thing in her son's disappearance was always his safe return.
I got what I needed back. Okay, so whatever else happens after that, honestly, I don't care.
Clarkston.
And that's the problem. You need to see it through and make sure that even if he was just jacking the car, which it looks like he was, it looks like he didn't want to harm the child specifically, but even if it was just a carjacking, you should see it through and make sure that he gets the justice. This is why we got these boys out here cutting a fool, these super gremlins out here nutting up in the streets, because there's women like this who enable this activity. And I get it, she's trying to do the Christian thing and forgiveness and all that kind of stuff, but this ain't it, ma.
Police say a 17-year-old male was arrested Thursday by DeKalb County schools in an unrelated incident. They say he was transferred to the DeKalb County jail and is being charged with theft and abduction. Authorities say they linked him to Blaze's disappearance using DNA evidence found in the stolen vehicle.
The vehicle was processed with the GBI. During that time, we were able to obtain a fingerprint from a piece of mail that was unrelated to anyone associated with the family.
The child was taken when someone stole the family's SUV on November 10th as the parents were unloading items from it. Just hours later, authorities found the SUV abandoned a few miles away, but Blaze was nowhere to be found. It wasn't until the following day that a Clarkston resident went out to her car and found someone had left Blaze inside. The infant's mother says the last 3 months have been spent celebrating her son's first birthday and spending quality family time together.
Me and Blaze have been chilling. You know, he's turning 2 this year, so that's big. So more trips, more family time, and more just him time.
Investigators tell me that they're still working to figure out what the 1-year-old did during that 36 hours that he went missing. They say they are still working to question the suspect.
This morning, we learned the CEO of MARTA, Jeffrey Parker, had died. He was named MARTA CEO back in 2018 and had received a 3-year contract extension back in November of 2020. Parker joined MARTA following a long career with the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority.
Wow, man. So this one is pretty wild. The CEO of MARTA basically killed himself, stepped in front of a train and did it to himself, man. That the irony that he was the CEO of a transit system and was inevitably killed by a transit system is crazy. So, you know, you never know what people got going on. Even if they're rich, they still can crash out. This is definitely crashing out. And I definitely would like to understand his rationale in doing this and maybe what pushed him over the edge. Because, you know, the mental health issues are real. But usually when it comes to the mental health issues with people who are outside of the community, it ends up being self-inflicting. Like they're more struggling with internal battles rather than wanting to beef with everybody around them. And it looks like he was struggling with an internal battle and lost.
Today, flags outside MARTA headquarters were lowered to half staff. Words of condolences poured in all day, including from Governor Kemp and Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. Jeffrey Parker was 56 years old.
And before we go, we want to pass on some sad news just into the Fox 5 newsroom. The CEO of MARTA has passed away. Jeffrey Parker died last night. Right now, no word on the cause of his death. A spokesperson with MARTA says Parker care deeply about MARTA, gave a strong foundation. We'll have more on this later today on Fox 5.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.